Well, today's episode, as you know, is Thursday. We got Impact Wrestling, as you know. We're heading next week to Sacrifice, where some interesting matches takes place. But at the same time, after that, we get to Rebellion. But however, certain matches are interesting today. We have, of course, the Knockouts Tag Team titles on the line. We got, of course, an interesting trios match that will be sort of like a warm up before Sacrifice, and plenty others. And of course, we got Ring of Honor, as we know. We got some two provisional ground matches where they will. It's not about having a title match. It's all about seeing if they can last long for an opportunity for title matches. And the pure championship will be on the line, and also, of course, the six-man tag team championships will also be on the line. And of course, we got some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as an AEW return and a couple of matches that have been booked and plenty others. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with Impact Wrestling now. As you know what happened the week ago or so, we saw PCO got run over by a car and still kicking. So, as you know, it's still unclear who ran him over. So he made his way back to Las Vegas for one mission only, is to get his hands on Eddie Edwards. Now we get to that in a bit. Now, our first opening match, we have Mike Bailey teaming up with Josh Alexander, Jonathan Gresham, the Octopus. They take on the K members, Black Taurus, and what's his name? Oh yeah, Crazy Steve. I have to say a lot of the combinations between both Gresham and Bailey was impressive. Now, these two have been opponents like in Impact Wrestling and outside of Impact Wrestling, but I have to say seeing them team up is most impressive. But it did give Jonathan Gresham the help like Bailey to ensure that they pick up the win when he took out Black Taurus with the ultimate weapon, and that was it. But later on, apparently, it appears that maybe this thing between them could work out. However, Mike Bailey does have one thing in mind. He said he hasn't forgotten that he lost a match against him. So kind of like the under respect. It's more like, okay, I want a little rematch for that match that I lost personally. So that's practically understandable. So I can't wait to see what else they can do. I mean, maybe one day they can become Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions. Who knows? Now, we do see an interview coming from Josh Alexander, Frank Kazarian, and Rich Swann. As you know, they are ready to take on the Bullet Club as a warm up before they get to Sacrifice to take on Time Machine. But once again, Steve Macklin gets in the way. As you know, Steve Macklin, he is trying to make sure that, how do I say, Josh Alexander is still in good shape. He doesn't want nothing to happen, but he thinks that this whole thing between them is a little crap, that he should have been the one by his side. But the truth is, I think the way I see it, Josh doesn't trust him because, we know that the last time they trusted him, he turned his back on Impact Wrestling. But that's what happens. Now, our next interview, as you know, Giselle Shaw, in the meantime, feels that, she was cheated out for Knockout's title thanks to Deonna Purrazzo, but don't think a solitary second that Giselle Shaw would not forget. But, however, she was interrupted by none other than Zicky Dice and the swingman himself, Johnny Swinger. I don't know what they were thinking. They decided to find an opponent for Johnny Swinger, and they picked Jadel Vidal, Jay Vidal, thinking that, oh, he's in the roster, but he's not a wrestler. And Giselle's like, don't these idiots know you can wrestle? So I think the problem was they just didn't see. We hardly see Johnny Vidal wrestle. I think that's what the story is telling you. That is just pretty darn funny. Now, our next match, we have Steve Macklin versus Heath. Now, you probably can guess this is one of the brutal matches ever. Now, Heath may have had him at some point, but it was overturned until Steve Macklin applied the KIA to pick up a win against Heath. Now, the Death Dolls are ready to proceed to defend the Knockouts tag team titles, but however, um, Taya is a little worried about Jessica due to magic, all that stuff. So basically, she convinced her, saying, "Let myself and Rosemary deal with it." So basically, Rosemary was a little bit not on board, but understood. Okay, I get it. I get it. So that sort of sets things. So that's what we saw. Now, our match between Johnny Swinger and Jai Vidal. I don't think Swinger knew what he was getting himself into. He thought that he was going to have an easy peasy match, but unfortunately did not. But in this necessary, Zicky Dice got himself involved to stop Jai Vidal for what he was doing. But like we always say in wrestling, he got caught with his hand in a cookie jar. The referee saw what he did, and he actually threw him out from, of course, the ringside. Uh, don't think of solitary second that Savannah Evans and Jizzle Shaw would have done the same thing too. They almost did until Diana Prazo showed up, who still wanted payback for what transpired with her last time, but it went a little chaotic in that standard. So that kind of went down. However, it was Jai Vidal who picked up the good one when he applied some sort of a kick, giving him a good win. So I don't know what Swinger was thinking, but he got himself in this mess in the beginning. Now, a lot of things have been going on with design. The obvious thing is this: the designer questioning, what if people who are saying, is Sammy Callahan really playing a ploy to the design? We don't know. We know that they are trying to put him in a. But it seems Sammy Callahan really is trying to be in, but he hasn't forgotten that they cost him the match. But this is not going to be a little easy thing to go through. Uh, as you know, Tommy Dreamer put himself in a match with Mickey James to take on Masha Slamovich and Bully Ray. But here's the problem that they have: both these women, both of them, Tommy Dreamer and Mickey James, have important matches the following day. Mickey James will be facing Jordan Grace for the Knockouts title. However, Tommy Dreamer will be facing uh, Bully Ray in a busting open match. The obvious question is, was this wise from Dreamer? We don't know. Even Jordan Grace thought the same thing too. I mean, Mickey James didn't ask for this, but it happened. Now, as you know, we've been watching PCO making his way back to the arena to deal with Eddie Edwards for what he did. Eddie Edwards believed that he finally put his past behind him. It turned out it did not. He was about to deal with Eddie Edwards, and then it was revealed it's a possibility it was someone. We did not expect this person to show up. Kenny King showed up, and they tried to take out PCO on a numbers game. PCO was able to hold his ground, but until it was just too much, and they really took him out. But apparently it did not help them in any way possible. Now the obvious thing is PCO remained down, but is this the end between PCO and Eddie Edwards? Only time will tell. But if it's not, I know PCO will get his hands on Kenny King to deal with them once and for all. Now, if you guys remember this guy in WWE, I cannot remember his name. I think his name is Vladimir. This Russian dude paid a little visit to his old pal, Santino Marella. It was great to see them, but Santino reminded him, do not say his name because we're not allowed to say it here. But however, when you heard that name, don't say his name. Say his name. He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. So Joe Hendry showed up. So he said he wants to invoke a rematch clause, but not to Moose, but to Brian Myers. So he said that he only is doing this to get a little revenge for what Brian Myers did to him a week ago. So Santino respects his revenge, and of course, the so-called deputy director of authority, Dango, is being such a fanboy. So I don't know if he was trying to kiss ass, but it did not. I don't know how that's gonna be. But this match between Hendry and Myers will take place in Sacrifice, and it's for the Digital Media Championship. Now our next match is the Impact Knockouts World Tag Team titles between the Coven, consistent of Kylan King and um, Taylor Wilde. And for the record, it's now been saying that it looks more like Kylan King is officially signed with Impact Wrestling. I'll be doing something interesting on another discussion video, but I need time to work on that too. Uh, their opponents, the Death Dolls, uh, Rosemary and Tal Valkyrie. I thought this match was great. It was pretty good, but however, Kylan King, who has proven who she can, what she can do in the ring, picked up the win when she took out Tal Valkyrie to become new Knockout Tag Team Champions. Now, because of this match, there was reports about how Tal Valkyrie has finished up with Impact Wrestling, and that's the reason we saw her in AEW Dynamite in Winnipeg. As you know, she is a Canadian, and that's the reason she was there. I think it was a perfect thing, but I don't know if we will see her the following week, but we'll find out soon enough. Now, our main event is Josh Alexander, Frank Kazarian, and Rich Swann taking on the Bullet Club, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and Kenta. The match was pretty good. I did enjoy it, but however, in the opposite side of the ring, we saw Steve Macklin. I don't know what he was doing, but he distracted Josh Alexander, but it did cost them the match. So I'm sure Josh Alexander is not going to be too pleased that this guy will not leave him alone. Macklin wants to ensure that Josh Alexander is in the best perfect shape of his life until they get to Rebellion. So, I mean, we still got a long way to go, but we'll see what happens in the following week. But right now, let's move on with Ring of Honor. Okay, our last review, Ring of Honor. It opened up with the ROH World Title uh, providing ground match. Now, keep in mind, this is almost similar to Eliminator match they do in AEW, but the only thing you need to do is try to hold on the time limit if you can try to beat them or not. So, Willie Mack faces off against Claudio Castagnoli. I thought this match was pretty good. So I was like impressed by this match with Willie Mack. Many people are know who he is. You guys love the guy. He's amazing. I mean, I've seen Willie Mack in person twice in my life. The first one was back in several years ago at the Saquon Casino, I believe. But yes, I thought it was a pretty great match. But apparently, Castagnoli had the much better advantage when he tried the uppercut to pick up the win. So he actually made sure that Willie Mack will not get an opportunity in the near future. Now, our next match, this little sort of like a war between two different classes of wrestling tag teams, like the Kingdom and Top Flight, continues on. Mike Bennett, representing the Kingdom, faces off against Dante Martin, representing Top Flight. I thought this match was pretty good, but however, this particular match it showed how Mike Bennett was applying a little bit of the grappling technique into Dante Martin, because keep in mind, you have someone who uses technical experience wrestling versus someone who does a lot of the high flying spots that you normally see. But however, somehow Dante Martin was able to overcome everything that he did until he pinned Mike Bailey to pick up the win. Mike Bennett. But however, Matt Taven, who it doesn't want to consider this as a sort of losing match, attacked Dante Martin, and Darius shows up for the helping hand. But this feud between them is far from over. Even in an interview later on, that it was showed this is not end. But however, the following week we are going to see Darius taking on Matt Taven. Next match we have the Trustbusters, consistent with Ari Davari and Slim J, taking along with that Weasel, Smart Mark Sterling, taking on Matilic and Blake Christian. I thought this match was pretty good as well, because it showed what tag teams should be coming through in ROH. I know they're trying to reestablish themselves, but Matilic and Blake Christian worked together pretty well until Matilda applied the Michinoku driver onto Slim J to pick up a very good win. But however, speaking of the Trustbusters, Jeeves K ended up in the match against Eddie Kingston. You can guess that this match ended with him being in the Dragon Sleeper tapping out. But however, near the end of the match, in a interview, Smart Mark Sterling is saying that this match between Slim J and Ari Daivari does not count because they were using illegal moves. Like whatever. But however, they decided to set up a match where, um, how to say, uh, the Trustbusters, all three of them will be facing against Matalik and Blake Christian in a six-man tag team match. However, they say bring whoever you want, but it later showed that Blake Christian and Matalik have a partner that they have in mind, and that partner is none other than AR Fox. And they say they have their eyes set now on the ROH six-man tag team title. So that is something we're definitely going to pay attention to. Now our next match is for the ROH Women's World Title in a provisional ground match between Hyan, who has been part of the 2021 uh, re-event of ROH, taking on Athena. You can guess this match was all about Athena proving once again being more aggressive, making sure that nobody has an opportunity, but it took a crossface again by Athena to pick up the win. And here we go again in the post match. Athena with her thing trying to hurt Yuka Sakazaki. However, she did, high end, but later on she was upset that she thinks that Yuka Sakazaki is afraid of her. So she's saying that she's issuing a challenge to defend the ROH Women's title at Supercard of Honor. As you know, Yuka Sakazaki will be in LA for certain matches, particularly involving with Tokyo Pro Wrestling, and I think that's going to be good. However, let's see. Our next match is for the ROH six-man tag team match. We have Dalton Castle and the boys taking on the Embassy, Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and of course, Teo Leona. This was a brutal match from everybody, and I think it showed why the Embassy is the most dominant tag team, six-man tag team that you probably wouldn't expect. But it took they took out the boys to ensure that the match was over. It was Bishop Khan who pinned both the boys. 1, 2, 3. It was over, but they decided to continue to dismantle the boys to show them who runs things. But luckily for the boys and Dalton Castle, they were rescued by none other than the men who say they have their eyes set on them. We're talking about AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Matalik. So sooner or later, they may have to challenge for those titles. Now, the reason I believe that is because, as you know, Brian Cage's contract is almost up with AEW, so they could be dropping those titles at any given time. I believe that could happen at Supercard of Honor. So we'll see what happens then. Now our next match is the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, taking on one of the originals, the first inaugural ROH Tag Team Champions, Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels. I thought this match was pretty good. I like the combination, but there's a little bit of rust since those two haven't teamed up in who knows how many years, but they picked up a very strong win. But however, someone who believes that Aussie Open shows up, decided they want to take on the team that were the Ignatical. They think with this, by beating them, that they will be in a conversation for the ROH tag team titles. However, they haven't been announced who will be involved in the Reach for the Sky ladder match. We do know that the Lucha Brothers are in. I wouldn't be surprised if Daniels inside that will be involved in that too. So that's pretty well. Now our main event is the ROH Pure Championship. Clark Connors of the LA Dojo taking on Blackpool Combat Club's Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta has been more aggressive in this match, not to mention they gave them one free close fist punch. However, Yuta decided, oh, F it, I'm going to throw a second one anyway. But it took a seatbelt for Wheeler Yuta to pick up the win against Clark Connors. But however, Wheeler Yuta decided that he wants to aim higher. Now, I'm not talking about championships. I'm talking about this. He's saying, well, I defeated someone from, he's saying that the Blackpool Combat Club is the best trained group ever. So he wants to take out the teacher of Clark Connors, and that is Shibata. So he's calling him out, saying that he wants a match against him. We still will wait to what Shibata has to say. But Claudio Castagnoli comes out clapping, saying, yes, this is what we want. They want to take out Shibata to prove once and why the Blackpool Combat Club are the best, well trained pro wrestlers ever. So we'll see what Shibata says when that day comes. So I think that's pretty much it with Ring of Honor. Let's move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. Now, you may have heard the news. Stu Grayson is now officially all elite again. They actually posted one of those, you know how they put on the Twitter page and any social media that whatever competitor or coach they put all elite. Well, they put in the bottom again. I thought it was classic, but I have to say I'm happy that Stu Grayson is back. Man, I miss the guy. He's really amazing. I enjoy him teaming with Uno, and I think this is going to be awesome to see those two. I really will love to see those two win the tag team titles. That is something that I'm hoping for. That's what I want to see. WrestleCon has announced 4 more people for the upcoming uh, WrestleCon, and that's going to be we have Trish Stratus, Kevin Sullivan, FTR, and Jenny Santana. Now, I may have heard Jenny Santana somewhere, but you may know Kevin Sullivan. He is the guy who had a close relationship with Nancy Benoit a long time ago. There was some issues that took place, but that's part of the Dark Side of the Ring. But of course, I do know that Trish Stratus and FTR, their lines are going to be so super large. So if you guys are going to be in LA for the WrestleCon, then you guys know they're going to be there. Now, the DEFY Wrestling is announced for the Realist event taking place later on in April. We're gonna have Marina Shafir be in a match against someone you guys already seen on Dynamite. We're talking about Nicole Mathers. This is gonna be huge. Now, speaking of Nicole Mathers, it was announced by Deadlock Pro Wrestling for their live show taking place also in April. She will be making her debut, so this is going to be huge news. I'm sure that Nicole Mathers is going to be great. Now, for a final update, as you know, we haven't seen Scott D'Amore since he was, you know, put through a table thanks to Bully Ray on Impact Wrestling. Well, it was now been reported that Scott D'Amore has been promoted from being Vice President of Impact Wrestling to President of Impact Wrestling. Now, we don't know if he'll be on a television role, but I want to say congratulations to Scott D'Amore. I think he is doing a great job trying to make Impact Wrestling what it is now. So hopefully we can see him again on tele, but only time will tell. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have more of the quarterfinals for the New Japan Cup. It's happening real soon, so I'll be covering that. And also, we got AEW Rampage and NXT Level Up. I'm not 100% sure if I'll be throwing another video before that, but only time will tell. So I'll be doing that as soon as possible. If there's anything else, I'll let you guys know. But for now, we'll just end it right here. And I'm going to have to say I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Oh, wait a minute. I just forgot. We're going to have a special video after this one. This one is a very interesting one. It is a combination of both the news updates and discussions. For all you Ice Ribbon fans, especially those who are American fan base here, who love Ice Ribbon, who watch Ice Ribbon, something is happening. Apparently, many fans are questioning, especially the Japanese fan base, who are concerned over a situation that's going on in Ice Ribbon. There was a press conference involving 2 wrestlers. One is, in fact, they're both, one is leaving Ice Ribbon and the other one is being transferred to another promotion. So I'll be doing a video of that real soon. So stand by on that. This is some interesting stuff. So I'm going to pick out a theme for that because it's a combination of both. So for right now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.